Well, hello everybody. Today I want to do another 1.17 snapshot video, and there's been 3 snapshots released recently. There was 21W03A, 21W05A, and 21W06A. So the first thing I want to talk about is the glowing squid. The glowing squid was added in 21W03A, and it doesn't spawn naturally in the world yet. It comes as a spawn egg, and you can spawn them into your world. The good stuff is it's a really cool looking mob. The particle effects are really nice. If you happen to attack one, it does this really neat kind of glowing ink spray. Show you again here. There you go. Very cool. But other than that, it is essentially just a squid. They are pretty visible from even pretty far away. Which is interesting, I suppose. But yeah, I've made it very clear this is not the mob I would have chosen from the mob vote. Now, if you kill a glowing squid, you get a glowing ink sac. There's one right there. Now, right now, if you have signs and you use dye on them, you can turn the text colors. What the glowing ink sac does is it'll make the sign glow. As you can see in the dark here, that one is definitely brighter than that one. So the dye still changes the color of the text, and then the glowing ink sac determines whether or not the text glows. So you can also do this on an item frame. If you take an item frame and you combine it with a glowing ink sac, you get a glow item frame. And the glow item frame works just like an item frame, except it is much, much more visible at night. One thing that's interesting is these two, if you look at them in the daylight, they basically look identical. You can't tell them apart. It's only at night the glowing version really stands out. The 21W05 added a ton of new stuff, and it's all really awesome. So there's a moss block, there's a moss carpet, there's a small drip leaf, a large drip leaf, there's azalea leaves, there's flowering azalea leaves, there is an azalea bush with a cool little stem, there's a flowering azalea bush with a cool little stem, there's glowberries, and these really fancy spore flowers here that drip particles. This is the stuff that's going to appear in the Lush caves, and all of this is just really incredible. I'm super happy as far as decorating, that sort of thing. It's going to be amazing. As with the squids, there's some new glow stuff. There are the glowberries, which are up here, and then there's this stuff here called glow lichen. The glowberries grow from the roof down, and they are edible, and they are a light source, so a cool, renewable light source, which is just fantastic. And then this stuff, the glow lichen, it can appear on any surface, and it's not as obvious to see that it is making light, but you have to take my word for it. Anyway, all of this stuff is just incredible, both for functionality, new light sources, as far as decoration. And then the drip leaf, I think, is going to add all kinds of new functionality because it can be redstone powered. It could be used for mini games. Lots of really cool, fun stuff there. So I want to take a minute to talk about one thing I do find confusing, and that is, what does glow mean? So for example, with the glowing squid or with the glowing ink sacs, we can see them in the dark, but they are not giving off light. So that is to say that the light level in here is unchanged, even though this is more visible. So it makes sense sort of that glow means more visible, but not necessarily a light source. That is, until you get into the glow lichen, which, as you can plainly see, does give off light. Same thing goes for the glow berries. If you string up a couple of those and then bone meal them, we get glow berries, and as you can see, those are definitely also a light source. So glow is not a very universal term. Sometimes it means more visible, like with the glow squid or the glow ink sacs. Sometimes it means it actually does give off light, like with the glow berries or with the glow lichen. Not the end of the world, but just an observation. And this brings me to 21W06A, which is by far, in my opinion, the most exciting update so far. They added generation for caves, and they changed the world height, which is so incredible. I was so hoping they would do it, and they did. So if you watch Xisuma's channel over on the Hermitcraft server, he did a really brilliant description of what they did here. So right now, this is basically what Minecraft looks like. If you go down here to where bedrock is, that's 0. And if you go up to Y64, that's where you start running into the grass and sea level where we are now. And then above us, there are 192 blocks of sky. So that is the 256 blocks that we get to build in as of right now in 1.16. What 1.17 is doing is they're adding 64 more blocks to the sky and 64 more blocks to the earth. So what we end up with is still block 0 right here, but we're going to go into negative numbers. So bedrock is at negative 64, and then our build height will be 320 blocks. So once they add in the mountains, this is a ton of room to do some really cool stuff. And then this doubles the depth that the caves can go in. This is so much room to do some really cool stuff. So before I go into any of the details, let me just cruise around and show you what some of these caves look like. First, I'll do it without night vision, and then I'll do some with night vision as well. Now, when I play Minecraft, I usually have my brightness set to 80%. So the reason I do this is A, it's easier to see in the dark, and B, it looks better in a Minecraft video on YouTube because you can actually see what's going on. I think when you first download it, the default is moody, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see that's quite a different looking game. So this is flying around on moody setting. And then this is with a night vision potion. You know, all the caves aren't huge and gigantic. Some of them are like we had before. And even these smaller caves, I just have to say, I feel like they are much more organic feeling and much more real as far as the way a cave would look or function. So, you know, honestly, the most critical thing I can say is that the glow squid is a little bit silly, and glowing is sort of an ambiguous name for whatever is going on there. Everything else is absolutely fantastic, absolutely stunning. Love the new plants and the Lush stuff. I can't wait until they move the dripstone and the Lush caves in and make that happen. I can't wait to see what the mountains are going to look like. We really haven't seen anything on that yet. And with the new world height, they could be really, really something very, very cool. So I'm really jazzed. This is going to be a fantastic update and really change the game. So that's all I've got for you guys this time. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're excited about, what you're disappointed about, what you're hoping for, and we'll look forward to the next snapshots. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.